Welcome to this morning's devotion. Today we are in Isaiah 23 through 27. And here we see great paintings of judgment over the nations, over actions. And still throughout these chapters we see a calling to this day of salvation, to this day in which God will come and make things right again. It can be difficult to hear these words of judgment. It can be easy to place ourselves outside that we are not Babylon, that we are not Tarshish, in these words that we are somehow absolved from this criticism. But one thing I'd like to mention is simply that these words are so important to who God's character is. We all make excuses and reasons for our behavior, for our failures. And it can be easy to preach this perfect love of God who has no expectations and has unlimited grace beyond all of our failure, and there are elements of that for sure. But here we can see clearly stated what God does not want, what the consequences are of these sins. This is what Jesus came to save us from. This is what the blood of the Lamb cleanses. And without God in his great character explaining the why and how of his expectations, we would see a God of wrath with no reason, a critical God and not a father. Listen to the words and the imagery, the metaphor and the simile. The use of words from scene to scene that in your mind paint a picture. It is in these things that God allows our imagination to see beyond our knowledge, to see beyond a mental understanding of what he is saying into a deep state of knowing and feeling the words of God. Look at the land of the Babylonians. This people that is of no account. The Assyrians have made it a place for desert creatures. They raised up their siege towers. They stripped its fortress bare and turned it into ruin. Wail, you ships of Tarshish. Your fortress is destroyed. At that time, Tyre will be forgotten for 70 years, the span of a king's life. But at the end of these 17 years, it will happen to Tyre as in the song of the prostitute. Take up a harp, walk through the city, you forgotten prostitute. Play the harp well, sing many a song, so that you will be remembered. And here's chapter 25. Lord, you are my God. I will exalt you and praise your name. For in perfect faithfulness you have done wonderful things, things planned long ago. You have made the city a heap of rubble, the fortified town a ruin, the foreigner's stronghold a city no more. It will never be rebuilt. Therefore strong peoples will honor you. Cities of ruthless nations will revere you. You have been a refuge for the poor, a refuge for the needy in their distress, a shelter from the storm, a shade from the heat. For the breath of the ruthless is like a storm driving against a wall, and like the heat of a desert. You silence the uproar of foreigners. As heat is reduced by the shadow of a cloud, so the song of the ruthless is stilled. On this mountain the Lord Almighty will prepare a feast of rich food for all peoples, a banquet of aged wine, the best meats and the finest wines. On this mountain he will destroy the shroud that enfolds all peoples, the sheet that covers all nations. He will swallow up death forever. The sovereign Lord will wipe away the tears from all faces. He will remove his people's disgrace from all the earth. The Lord has spoken. And so, Lord, I pray that we would revere you in your power, that your actions and decisions would cause us to take a step back, that it would cause us to honor you with our words and our hearts and our lives. Lord, that we would learn more and more just how you care for the poor and the needy, for those distressed. Lord, that we would be more like you. In the midst of all of this, that we would be your people and your children. That when we are distressed, we would cry out instead of try to do it ourselves. Lord, that we would choose each day to not be like the people of Babylon, but to be yours. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you. May the Lord be gracious to you. And today would you know his peace.